What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here. And as Packers fans, we've been going through the 2021 NFL Draft, obviously going through the film rooms as we're continuing to do on this channel, and have gone through some other drafts that I liked. I think it was important, obviously, for you Packers fans to talk about the most important to you outside the Packers, what the NFC North division rivals did in the 2021 NFL Draft. So here today, we're going to go through the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears drafts, tell you what I liked and didn't like, and maybe what each team did well in the draft to improve themselves heading into the 2021 season, and what the Packers should really look out for from these draft classes. So obviously we're going to start. You see the background is purple. We're starting with the Vikings. They move back 9 spots with the Jets to still get Christian Darrisaw at 23, pick up 2 third-rounders in the process. Love the Christian Darrisaw pick for them. Think he slides in at left tackle and is going to be a force in the run game and in space. Third round, they go get guys. They get 4 picks there. They get Kellen Mond, Chaz Surratt, Wyatt Davis, and Patrick Jones. I didn't love, actually, those third round selections very much. I think Wyatt Davis was a good pick, a little bit undersized guard. But again, the Vikings have struggled for years on the offensive line. And to be able to now put a group together that is actually starting caliber and solid overall, and now plugging in Darrisaw and Davis, I think they did well there. Truthfully, Kellen Mond is a high variance quarterback. They're betting on him to maybe be the potential starter after Cousins is gone. I don't know. The high variance play, not sold on it, truthfully. Chaz Surratt just does not get off blocks. He's a space linebacker. He's going to be a will. And I just don't see it, truthfully. I think he's got a long way to go in his development. He can reach it. He can reach the area to be a starter, but I just don't know right now. I think he's got a long way to go. Could be a practice squad player. Patrick Jones, I think he's got some athleticism, got some quickness, but just doesn't have a plan. He tries to outmuscle tackles at times when he doesn't put his plan together, and his first plan of attack is kind of neutralized. He just kind of try to out bull rush, out muscle guys, and that just isn't going to work at the NFL level. He needs to develop a pass rush plan. Fourth round, they go Kene Nwangwu from Iowa State, speed return guy. Cameron Bynum, corner position's kind of in a little bit of limbo right now because of obviously Jeff Gladney in the off field. Bad stuff surrounding him. Might not play football again. So they get Bynum, who's a smart player, and then they go Janarius Robinson, who's a toolsy pass rusher, who again still needs a lot of refinement. So come back in the 5th, though, they get Amir Smith-Marset. This one hurt. One of my favorite receivers in the class. I think he's a good deep threat. I think he's good after the catch with the ball in his hands, good vision, good speed, can erase the angles. He's a good route salesman, good head fakes, head shoulders to manipulate defenders. I think he's going to do a lot for them as a wide receiver 3 and returner as well. Zach Davidson, thought it was fine. He's an upside pick at tight end. And then they go finish it up with Jalen Twyman, the defensive tackle out of Pitt, in the 6th round. So overall, what I think the Vikings did well is they addressed offensive line very well. To have a front 5 now of Darrisaw, Cleveland, Bradbury, Davis, and O'Neal, I think is pretty solid overall. So I think they got better on the offensive line. They threw a couple high upside swings at defensive ends to potentially be pass rushers in the future for them. Don't see a lot of impact for them really in 2021. Surratt, I think, is a real long-term development, as is Kellen Mond. So, truthfully, I think what they did best, like I said, I think with Darrisaw and Davis, they did very well there. I think Bynum has a chance to make some plays and get in the rotation his first year. So that's a guy in the secondary to watch for. And obviously, I think Amir Smith-Marset has a very bright future in the NFL. So, again, clean up the character stuff for him. He's good to go. I think he'll be a very, very good wide receiver 3. So some of the Packers are going to have to keep an eye on in the secondary as they continue to build that secondary. Jalen Twyman's interesting because he's got a lot of power and upper body strength, the core strength, the lower half strength. It's all there. Just needs to be more consistent as a pass rush. And I think we say that about basically everybody in the class. So overall, I think there was a lot of hit and miss with the Vikings draft. But again, where they got better, offensive line, and I think they got a really good wide receiver 3. Potential on the defensive line to get back to where they were a few seasons ago under Zimmer. So that's just something to watch. I think the Vikings did a pretty solid job, but ultimately they're still going to be dependent on what Cousins does for them, and they have to somehow generate pressure with the front they have. I'm just not sold on them, so they've got some work to do. They've got an uphill battle for the 2021 season. Now to move on here. Let's go to the Lions draft here. Penei Sewell at 7. What's to say? Great pick, great tackle. I think he's the future cornerstone there for them at left tackle. Then they come back the second day of the draft and they get 2 defensive tackles. One in Levi Nwuzurike, who I think is the best bet on juice as a pass rusher in this class, truthfully. I think his movement skills laterally and, he can attack gaps. He gets that initial quickness like nobody else really, especially on his team, but also in this class. I think he's just out of his stance quickly, plays with better leverage, plays with lower pad level. He's going to succeed. Then they go Alan McNeil, who's more of a, one tech, zero tech, maybe get him to 2 gap, but he's going to do a lot of run defending for you, take on and eat those double teams. So I think they've got 2 clashing styles there at defensive tackle, and they opted for, an early down player and a guy who can potentially eventually play all 3 downs. So I think they did good addressing the trenches, and they come back Ifatu Melifonwu at the end of a 3rd round. Again, guy with height, length, weight, speed type of corner who transitions well for his size. I think he can potentially grow into a starting role opposite Okudah. Then in the 4th round, they get Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know the history of 4th round wide receivers lately. They don't pan out. Amon-Ra St. Brown just does everything well. And in a room where there is just no contest for targets right now, they are begging somebody to be the wide receiver 1 for them. He could be that. He's going to be in the slot a lot, get a lot of targets from Jared Goff. Can make plays after the catch. He's a pretty solid route runner, can make plays at the catch point as well. Derek Barnes, going to do a lot of different things. Probably a lot of Sam linebacker for him. Truthfully, I think he comes downhill well. He can get off blocks, got some pass rushing juice to him. And then they finished up with Jermar Jefferson, who a lot of people really like as a late round back in the class. Of course, the Lions continue to draft running backs every year. And they obviously let go of Kerryon Johnson, but they've got guys in-house still. So be interesting to see what they do there at the running back position. They continue to draft. Confusing to me. But Jefferson, very good vision. And, had the burst, had the long speed. But this past year, he kind of got sapped of it later in the year. So it's just something to watch for him if the injuries have taken a toll on his legs. We'll see. But overall, what I think the Lions did well, again, attack the trenches. And they really got to build that around this defense and around for Jared Goff or whoever succeeds him at quarterback. So I think they did a very good job in the first 2 days. Even Melifonwu, I think, is a good upside pick, and I think they did well with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now they added Sage Surratt and Jonathan Adams Jr. as UDFAs. So there's a lot of competition in training camp for wide receiver spots. It's possible those guys could make the roster. But again, Surratt, I think, was a vertical playing guy who struggled to separate. Won a lot at the catch point. Didn't really like his film. And Adams is a highly productive player, but we'll see. I'm just a little unsure. He does have the height, weight, speed combo. He's going to be interesting for sure. I think he will make the team. He has better odds than Surratt. But I think the Lions overall did very well building around. I don't think they're obviously there yet in terms of contending in 2021. So not something that is like, some immediate threat to the Packers. But I do think this is a good start to a long-term build for the Lions. Something we thought was going to maybe happen under Patricia. Definitely did not. The drafts were really bad under them. But I think there's some promise there for the Lions team. Obviously, like I said, to the Packers in 2021, not much of a threat. So we go now to the Chicago Bears. And this one, folks, is going to be a little disheartening, I think. Really liked what they did moving up for Justin Fields. It hurts to say it, but Justin Fields is a high upside player, and he's really good right now. He probably should start right away. Again, great deep ball, great arm talent, poise, toughness, all these things you can ask for in a quarterback. He's got the arm to throw it outside the hashes. He'll attack the middle of the field. He processes well. He just has to take that one tick, I think, faster processing to move his feet. He's just very patient back there to let things develop, which is good. It's good to be patient and not force things, but rushers are going to start getting home in the NFL quicker. So he has to just uptick that processing a little bit, which I think he will do. Then they come back, 2nd round, still the day 2 pick. They pick up Tevin Jenkins. A lot of people want the Packers to draft a mauler at the tackle spot, going to down block very well for you in the running game. Chicago, rumors are maybe they're switching to the little outside zone with Fields coming in. Could be interesting for them. But again, you get down blockers and you've got guys who can seal at tackle. I think Tevin Jenkins comes in and starts. Larry Borum was interesting from Missouri. Had to look up some of his film. I think he's okay. He's interesting. More of a developmental player. Then round 6, I think they really nailed it. Daz Newsome, going to be a very good slot receiver, trying to move Anthony Miller for a long time. I think that they do that eventually. Newsome doesn't have, these elite dynamic ability or anything, but I think he's a very reliable, tough, and quick slot receiver who can produce for them. Khalil Herbert, smooth, agile, great vision, really good number 2 back in Chicago now. I know they got Tariq Cohen. I think he plays a different. Well, I wouldn't ever call him an early down running back, but I think for an early down running back, Khalil Herbert is your running back 2 for Chicago now. Thomas Graham, interesting inside out versatility. If you've been on the channel, you know a lot about Thomas Graham because we did a film room on him. Thought he was pretty solid overall. So then they come back Kyrus Tonga in the 7th round. Another guy just rotation on the D line to be a run stuffer. Maybe get after the quarterback a little bit. And then they get Charles Snowden in free agents, undrafted free agency. Guy who's got 15 sacks and 30 tackles for loss on his resume. Long, tall. Where do you play him? I don't know, but he's intriguing. So overall, the Bears draft, there's a lot of concern here. Obviously, if you're a Packers fan, maybe not right away, but again, I think it's just something that the Bears were desperate, and that desperation turned into potentially gold for them. And Fields and Jenkins especially, I think they got playmakers in Herbert and Newsome. Graham can potentially come in later in the year and get some reps, especially on the inside if they need him to. And again, Tonga and Snowden, interesting plays for the defensive line for the front 7. So I think the Bears are really going to be set. I know tackle is still a question mark for them, but if Fields starts, they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. And so a team that still made the playoffs last year with Trubisky and Foles, now you get a game changer like Fields in there. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, though, I think the NFC North did well. And obviously, Packers fans, the draft was a little hit or miss from the Green Bay's end, in my opinion. But again, I think when you look at what these teams did, trenches was really the focus for me and something I saw. So that's just something to look out for in year 1 for all these teams. Packers have 6 games, obviously, against these guys. So we'll get to see a lot of these rookies. But just a lot of my thoughts, truthfully, on what I saw from the 2021 NFL Draft from these NFC North teams. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Really appreciate you guys and the support this channel has gotten so far. Really excited what we got in the future. So hope to see you guys very soon. Farewell.